Hey there, welcome back to the Greater You. Glad to be with you today. As usual, we've got some tools to put out there. Our goal with the Greater You is to really just make the world a little bit better each day by giving tools, skills, and ideas to people that will help to inspire them to lead a more healthy life in all of the areas that we like to talk about. Today, what's on my mind here to share with you is addiction. This is huge. Every family that I don't know, most families on the planet are probably touched by the claws of addiction. We all have family members, friends, loved ones that we've seen struggle with various types of addictions. We ourselves may have struggled with various types of addictions. Why is that? Well, human beings are creatures of habit, as we've talked about in other videos. We habits are huge, right? Well, if we get unhealthy behaviors into a habit situation, where it's like a faulty coping skill, whether it's exercising too much, overeating, uh, pornography, drugs, alcohol, gambling, YouTube, watching too many videos. There's whatever it is, screen addiction. Human beings, because we're prone to habit, you can turn good things or unhealthy things into habits, which then can become addictive. How do we know when something's crossed into the line of being an addiction? It's disruptive. This behavior is compulsive. It's happening frequently. We feel out of control with it. It's beginning to interfere with our relationships. It's beginning to interfere with our work and our lives. And those interferences are causing distress to the people around us, including ourselves. There usually is a lot of denial around it. There's a lot of dishonesty in an addicted mind where they try and minimize what's really going on, but really it's starting to make an impact. The behavior is controlling a person's life rather than being a supplement to their life. So, against that backdrop of understanding a little bit about what addiction is, how do we get out from under it? How do we stop these unhealthy habits that break us down and make us feel bad and cause such disruption in our lives? These 5 components we found at the Greater You from our many years of working in the human service industry in various disciplines, including myself personally having worked in the drug and alcohol treatment industry and the addiction industry as part of my career for many years. These 5 things really bubbled to the surface as the things that seem to help the most in people overcoming those old unhealthy habits and addictions. So let's talk about each one of these. All 5 are very important. The first one is 100% accountability, not 90%. We're talking 100%. If a person can own, say, a teenager's playing too many video games and they're playing 12 hours a day or something, wow, we got a problem, right? If that person can own, wow, I have a problem. I need to own, I am spending way too much time playing video games or whatever it is. That 100% accountability that is then shared with appropriate people really helps to begin to break down the addiction. Addictions like to reside in the dark corners of our lives where they're protected by denial, pretenses, illusion, and fantasy. But when we become 100% accountable, we're bringing to light our problem and we're owning it. We're kind of taking it on the chin, we're owning it, which leads us into that 100% honesty. Accountability is owning that this is my problem and being real about it. Honesty is being very clear to the full degree that this problem has been in your life. What are all the impacts? Where have you been sneaking around? What have you been hiding about? And coming forward and getting open with your family and friends, close loved ones, and your support network about here's what's really been going on. When I've been saying that I've been going to this work meeting, I've actually been going to that bar or whatever it is. Owning that with the accountability and then getting really honest makes it so those dark corners of your life begin to have light in them. And like mold and other gross things like that, addictions, they have to have darkness. They have to be in those dark recesses of your life. And when you're honest, you shine the light of truth on it, it begins to withdraw and lose its power and impact on you. Genuine human connection cannot be overstated. A lot of addictive behaviors, if not all, are tied into a lack of connection in a person's life. We may have lost connections with friendships, family members, loved ones, workmates, whatever it is. People feel disconnected, and those addictive behaviors are a faulty coping skill to deal with those disconnections in our lives. So the solution there, and this is one of the hard ones, all 5 of these can be super tough, but they're all worth it, is developing genuine human connections, learning how to reach out again as you're getting accountable and as you're getting honest, building those relationships back, making amends, making apologies, building those connections. The reason why the AA program and other 12-step programs have literally saved millions of lives by this point in our world's history is because these components are at the core of all 12-step programs, right? And you build genuine human connections. You go into an AA meeting and you build connections with your people that, and everyone is supporting each other in getting and staying sober. So they're building those connections and they get a sponsor, and those sponsors help them feel connected. So I am a big proponent. We at the Greater U support 12-step programs. Go and enroll yourself in one if you have an addiction that is running your life, right? So genuine human connection, and it might mean that you need to learn how to build relationships. Coaches are great at that. Therapists are great at that. How to build genuine connection and the soft skills that are required to build good relationships are really key to getting and staying sober from whatever our addiction is. Solid coping skills, that 4th step, that 4th component, huge. We've got to be able to cope. Life is stressful. Work can be hard. Relationships can be hard. The economy can be difficult, all the different things. When we build a solid repertoire of healthy coping skills, we can start leaning on those instead of our addictive behaviors. And that will really help bolster our ability to stay clean, sober, and healthy. And then the 5th one there is a connection to a higher power. This will not ever be removed from this list because I've seen it way too often. You try and do the first 4 on this list and you skip that 5th one saying, no, that's not for me. Well, I'm going to be a little in your face here and say it should be. We all need some sort of connection with something bigger than ourselves. I'm not saying which tradition you should follow or even a particular tradition, but build a relationship with something bigger than yourself to have access to a power that is greater than you. When we tie into that power, which is at the core of 12-step programs, when we surrender our addictions to that higher power, you can find a power there that is endless and will build you and strengthen you and help you to build those other first 4 items. Okay. So all 5 of these are very important. Highly recommend exploring all of them. This can be applied to stuff that isn't in that full addicted category. If you have old habits that are just disrupting your happiness and your joy, watching too much Netflix on the daily or something, and you're like, ah, man, if I just get an extra hour of sleep and an hour less of Netflix every day, you can apply these 5 concepts to even the stuff that's just not all that disruptive. And I would recommend doing it now so that you don't find yourself dealing with a full-fledged addiction. So give it a go. Try these 5 concepts out. I do recommend that you do all 5, not just 1 or 2, because all 5 together create a synergy and a power that really helps people overcome their addictions. So may you have great power and great success in overcoming all unhealthy habits you may have. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Talk to you again soon. Goodbye.